Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to B29 sky climbing. So, what else are you gonna do? This brings me to the subject of, how can I put this? Scumbags in War Thunder? I don't know. Let's call it toxicity in War Thunder. Let's consider it as a comparison between regular guys who are put into circumstances where they're sort of encouraged, almost forced, to play like scumbags, just because it's a scumbag meta, versus people who go out of their way to be scumbags. Scumbags is probably the kindest term I can think of right now, as a youth pastor with kids that watch this channel, to describe, but you can, insert your favorite descriptive pronoun. Anyway, toxicity in War Thunder. It is a thing. There are game mechanics that encourage it, and there are game mechanics that discourage it. But number one, what can be done to deal with it? What can you do? And what can you hope/dream, alternatively encourage in whatever way is possible, the developers of this game to change about the game that will change the toxic aspects of the game? And I'm going to cut straight to the chase. Number one, repair costs. What is the deal? Silver Lion grinding is a huge part of this game, and fair enough, you've got to have something as your goal. But I'm in the Key 94-2, I think that's the name of this thing. This is a event vehicle that I ground hard for. Like, it was hard on my wife for me to spend this much time and emotional investment, we'll call, frustration maybe, grumpy time, grinding for this airplane, and you know what I got was a plane that can perform, but it's not a premium, so hooray. So I get half the Silver Lions that I frankly should get for having an event vehicle like this, and the repair cost is very high, so I'm not able to have fun in this vehicle unless I ignore the cost and just go fly it for fun, or I get good, as it were, and dominate people. And you know what? This is a vehicle that can do well now that it gets an air spawn. Does it? No, it doesn't always get an air spawn. Okay, it's still crap. Never mind. So, let's get back to the subject at hand. Let's talk about this B29 pilot. He's been climbing the whole time, so let's catch up to him. Heyo, how you doing there, neighbor? That's a good amount of sparkles we got there. But we put a good amount of cannon fire in him, and now that we're chasing him down, this is a good time to have a conversation. So, he was running because, you know what, he doesn't want to pay the astronomical repair cost for his vehicle. And you know what, I can't blame him. I wouldn't want to die if I was in a B29 either. In fact, the repair cost is the reason I don't play the B29. There's just too many vehicles I'm grinding for right now. I don't have the time. Because I barely have time to play this game as it is now. I'm making all these videos. You're welcome. I don't have the time to grind for lions all the time, so I need to play vehicles that can actually support their own playstyle. Because I want to unlock new stuff and train crews. So the grind is real. Repair cost is BS for a lot of vehicles. Some vehicles that perform great, like the IS-6, have like a 2,000 repair cost. What's the deal? Also, pretty much all the Soviet vehicles, for the most part, have a very low repair cost. But Japanese vehicles, tanks, and planes have double or triple the repair cost of other vehicles with similar performance. What's the deal? If you're going to balance a vehicle by repair cost, why don't you just not? Why don't you just not do that? Could you not? Could you maybe just not? When you think about it, could you just not? Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Vehicles should not be balanced by repair cost because it influxes toxicity into the meta of the game. People are unwilling to take the risks, and I don't blame them, that really should be taken to support your team. In the end, bravery is more fun than fear in a video game, right? This is not a horror game. B-29 pilots shouldn't be jump scared every time someone actually gets up to their altitude, right? You shouldn't have to worry about these things, and I understand that the B-29 needs to be balanced somehow, but that's not the way to do it. If you don't want people having vehicles that are just insanely good for grinding, well, you know what? There's always something. So let the B-29 make money, and let people queue up for it. They're already set to be a maximum of 4 in the game, and you know what? That's fine. If winning matches by bombing bases becomes a problem, I think that's a problem with the game, actually. I think that aircraft shouldn't be able to win by bombing bases. I think that they should give you a set amount of victory points, yes, even destroying the airfield. And if your airfield gets destroyed, you know what? I think you shouldn't be able to land anymore and repair and refuel. I think that can be the advantage of destroying the enemy airfield. It's a huge advantage, but it doesn't end the match for the fighters that are still in the air, that still want to duke things out and play their vehicle. Does that make sense? In the end, I'd say my advice for fixing the game is let people play their vehicle without fear. Let every vehicle be good for grinding lions by making repair costs a standard cost based upon battle rating, right? I've got a 6.3 tank, 6,300 lions repair cost. I've got an 8.0 tank, guess what? 8,000 lions repair cost. 8.0 aircraft, 8,000 lions repair cost. Does that make sense? Just flat across the board, and people can stop letting repair cost affect their lives and what they play, because there's so many good vehicles. They just can't get played in. What are you doing, Toshio? I haven't landed this airplane in a while, and I was going a bit hot when I let the gear out, and I don't want to talk about it. So that's the end of this match with regard to discussing toxicity in War Thunder. What can War Thunder do? We just talked about it. Repair costs are bogus right now. They're not balanced. They're being used to make certain vehicles not fun, and I don't agree with that at all. Moving on to another issue, what can you do about toxic players? For one, don't be one, right? We met that B-29, and he was scumbagging, but that's the only thing he could reasonably do. It's in the meta of the game. I don't blame him, you know? And so I didn't hold it against him, and we ended up having a nice conversation during this match. So you can make friends by being nice to people. That's the first step, right? Just be nice, be understanding, be kind. What happens if you meet a real jerk face? We'll talk about that. Alright, here's a match in the Grizzly, and before things get heated up in the chat here, you're gonna see some rough talking here in the chat, right? Your boy Toshio is not gonna lie down and take it. But I did not bring this up in order to shame or you know, bring this argument into the public. I'm only showing this to you guys because I want you to know that it even happens to your boy Toshio, and I get mad at people, and there's two things that I get to decide whether or not I'm gonna do, and here's the way I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna use the Bible to describe my motives, right? Because this is what I actually do. I remember these things that are written in the Bible. Again, I'm a youth pastor. This is my life, right? I'm a born-again Christian. I'm not trying to convert you guys. I'm not trying to indoctrinate you guys. Just giving you guys a reference for where I'm coming from. Okay? We cool? Because I'm going to quote it now. The Bible says, in your anger, don't sin. Right? Sin, doing something wrong. So you're allowed to be angry, but that doesn't give you an excuse to behave badly. Does that make sense? And I think we've gotten to the point where in the chat I've let people know that I have a YouTube channel, and I've invited them to come see it if they like, right? It's basically just inviting somebody over into my living room to hang out with me, because that's what my YouTube channel is. I'm not a big channel. I'm not trying to be a big channel. I'm not really like advertising. I'm just letting people know, hey guys, I got a YouTube. I got some videos. You might like them. Come say hi. I know it is advertising, but this is just like, seriously. It's like when somebody's walking by on the street and you're just being friendly with them. You're like, hey, you're new around here, come on over, you know, I haven't seen you before, come to my house, eat with me and my family, get to know us. Because literally that's the kind of person I am. When I see a stranger on the street, that very day I saw a lady on the street that I hadn't seen before. I'm like, hey neighbor, and I was like, hey, you want to see the baby? Right, I'm getting ready to go somewhere, and I'm loading my baby girl into the car, and here's a lady I've never seen before in my life, and I'm like, hey, you want to see the baby? And I invite her over, and she comes and looks at my beautiful baby with me, and I start talking with her. And that's how you meet people. That's how you share the love with people. I come from a small town. That's how I treat people, right? And when I'm playing online, I treat people the same way. And you know what happens when somebody responds to me the way this guy was responding to me? I got a choice to make. Here's another Bible verse that I go by, right? I live by this one. It's actually a paradox in the book of parables. Wait, no, not parables. I'm an idiot. It's the book of Proverbs, right? But it's a paradox. So it's a direct contradiction of the Bible. Are you ready for this? It says, let's see, how's it go? It's something along the lines of, do not answer a fool according to his folly. Or it says basically, you're not going to have a good time. Right? It's not going to work out for you. He'll just ridicule you. And right after that, literally right after it, it says, answer a fool according to his folly, or he will appear wise in his own eyes. Well, what does that mean? Do I answer him? Do I get into this discussion, this argument, or do I not? Well, if you do answer him, he's going to ridicule you. He's going to make you look stupid. And in his own mind, he's going to decide that you're a moron, right? Are you starting to see what's happening in the chat? And how that actually works? The Bible's true, people. Anyway, moving on. And then right after that, it says, answer him. You know what? He's gonna make a fool out of you. He's gonna mock you. He's gonna ridicule you. But you know what? Answer him if you want to, because otherwise, he is gonna still think that he's wise. You know, let me tell you something. I've been a fool. I've been so wrong. I've been a complete idiot. And the best thing I can do as an idiot is tell people what I'm thinking. You know, say that dumb thing that you think and let somebody correct you. And you know what? I absolutely treasure the times that people have corrected me. They've told me that I'm wrong, why I'm wrong, where I'm wrong, right? Even when I have a wrong attitude. And as someone who values understanding and wisdom and correction, especially from a friend, but I'll take it from a stranger, I have grown in understanding and useful knowledge because I've accepted that correction. Those are some of the treasured moments in my life. Some of the times that I really hate is where I say or do something wrong and nobody corrects me, and then I just get to live with that for the rest of my life. And then when I'm folding laundry, I remember it and I'm like, oh God, why? So anyway, I've told this guy what he can do with himself and officially written him off as a person that I'm dealing with, right? And now after doing that, I'm trying to, in a balanced way, in a not really like mean-spirited or trying to win an argument kind of way, but I am engaging a little bit in the conversation, as it were, and he's engaging quite a bit more in the conversation. So, suffice to say, we're talking about toxicity in War Thunder, and again, I'm only showing this to you because it happens. Don't be that person that attacks people, right? even when I tell this guy what he can do with himself and what I think about him, this is not my way of attacking him, even though this is my way of basically slapping him in the face, because I think he stepped over a line. And if it was, duels and fisticuffs, I would go for duels and fisticuffs. When I was a kid, I used to get in fights with people, and you know what? Usually I wasn't the one that started it, but sometimes I was, because that person needed an attitude adjustment. And guys, I'm not saying that violence is the answer, but adults, we use violent words instead. And you know what? It's a thing that happens, and sometimes you can make a friend out of that. Because if you don't stand up for yourself, no one's going to respect you. That's the way it is. Answer a fool, or he'll remain wise in his own eyes. But you know what? If you do stand up for yourself, idiots are still going to be idiots, and they'll decide that they want an argument, even if there's no argument to win. And you know what? That's life. You just got to put it out there. Don't let people walk all over you. But if they want to, as an idiot, remain an idiot and decide that they want an argument, ain't nothing you can do about that. It's just time for you to disengage. Just like that. Disengage. And let the rest of the team just kind of crush them. Anyway, guys, that's enough on that subject and that particular person. And again, don't shame this guy. Don't look this guy up. Don't feel badly about this guy, because you know what? Everybody has a bad day. Maybe he was having a bad day. Maybe his little brother was playing on his account. I don't know. Maybe his dog left him and his girlfriend got lost in the woods. I don't know. So we'll just leave it at that. Anyway, guys, let's go into another match. Yeah, healthy premium bias, yeah. Okay, literally the next match in the Grizzly. And, guys, when I fly the Grizzly now, it's like a vacation for me. I really enjoy this airplane because it has the ability to turn a profit, even with a more leisurely style of gameplay. You don't have to dogfight, you don't have to engage the enemy team, you're just going down attacking ground targets and seeing what happens. Even a few heavy target kills like tanks or light pillboxes can get you enough points to justify your time in the match. You're fast enough to get things done. It really is one of those planes that you can relax in. You can just stop trying hard, and just, for me, ground striking is therapeutic. And I could use a little bit of lavender essential oil at this point, so to speak, just something to clear the air after that last match. I was mad. I was hopping mad. I was pretty angry about that guy, because you know what? When you meet a truly determined, bitter person, it's hard to get that out of your system. But you know what? I've talked about this before. Sweetness is the best way to deal with that. And praise the Lord, I really feel like this was just deliberately set on my plate next to clear that taste out of my mouth, because I met somebody that's actually really nice. And he has a YouTube channel. You'll see the name of it come up in the chat here. And he's got like 2 videos up, but let me tell you something. This guy, he's not somebody who pours, hour after hour after hour into his YouTube channel like, somebody that should be doing the dishes instead, but is conspicuously not doing that. I have no idea who you're talking about. But, man, I can smell the kitchen. Anyway, let's move on. This guy, he's got a channel with a couple of videos, but let me tell you something. Those 2 videos are gems. They're really funny. It just really cheered me up. I really did look up his channel after this, and I was able to give him some encouragement, and I invited him to the channel. And again, this is not me like trying to make a number tick up. I honestly don't want to have like this huge YouTube channel that makes me money and that I can advertise to you guys and make this into a job. I don't want to be an advertiser. I want to be an entertainer. I want to be somebody that just makes people smile, right? That brightens people's day. And YouTube gives me another way to connect with the people that I play the game with. It really is like inviting people into my living room to sit on the couch and just you know, talk about stuff. The European Canadian talked about that, and he actually does have a channel that's big enough to be a full-time thing, and you know, he doesn't seem all that interested in really monetizing his channel or making it into like a career. He's another guy that just likes to talk. He likes to hang out with people, and he makes his channel an extension of that. He talks about the things that he likes. And so I guess I like being treated like an honest, kind person, because that's what I am. And it honestly hurts me when people don't treat me that way. And then how do I deal with that? You know, you gotta have thick skin. You gotta be like the old grizzly here, right? The flak comes in and you shrug it off, because Gaijin worked on the damage model and now it actually can survive a hit most of the time. Most of the time. I have had my wing torn off in literally the first hit by an enemy AAA, but it's better. It's better. And you know what? I'm better. And sometimes I get upset, but you gotta learn to be tough. You gotta learn somehow. And if you don't have parents that beat you, then you learn to be tough by playing on the internet with people that treat you like scum. So, toxicity, right? And I made a joke about getting beat by your parents. You know what? I've been there. So, you know, it's not really like, it's like you can laugh or you can cry, and you can melt or you can get tough. And my advice: get tough. Toughen up. Take it as a blessing, because there's all kinds of people that encounter toxicity and negativity, and just I mean, there's bad, horrible things that happen to people that shouldn't happen to people. And you know what? When those kinds of things happen to you, that's your chance to get strong. That's your chance to learn to stand up for yourself, and to learn when not to stand up for yourself. And we got a guppy over here who's standing up for herself, and she's standing up over on the wall. She's saying hi to Dada. She's saying, Dada, you haven't talked to me in ages, and also I want a cookie. Hi, I love you. You are so pretty. You are so precious. And you know what? This girl's pretty tough. She bonked so hard. She bonked her face, like right on her teeth, like her mouth, on the corner of a little table at Grandma's house. And then she reeled back and she bonks the back of her head hard against the wall. It was like, tung tung! And then she's just like, ha! You know, like, alarm! Baby proximity alert, bonk alert. But after like 10 seconds of Dada holding her in his arms, she was just fine. She's a tough girl. Yeah, but she manipulates me. She tries to toy with my emotions, and Dada is so strong. Dada is so strong that he can... Yeah, you're so cute. That's a happy sound. Even when she's really trying to tug on my emotions. And you know what? Toxic people, they try and tug on your emotions. And you know what you do? You don't let that influence what you're gonna do. You do the right thing. You do the good thing. You do what's good for you, what's good for them, regardless of how people make you feel. Anyway, guys, I hope that's been a little bit helpful. My only reason for making this video was to be helpful to people in these kinds of situations, and to show honestly, like, what I've done to respond. Is it the best? Probably not. Is it, how do I put this? This is where I am. Maybe I can give some advice to people who are encountering things like this. And maybe this is a way of me getting some advice, right? I don't mind a good correction. Anyway, guys, take this as a conversation, as sitting next to me on the couch while I talk about what happened in my day. And feel free to share with me in the comments. Anyway, guys, catch you in the next episode. And by the way, I still love ground attack. Man, I want to make more Narwhal videos, ME262. Narval is not quite so good, in my opinion. It's more of a high-altitude fighter at this point in the game. I want to do more with the Grizzly. I really enjoy it. And when I made that Grizzly guide, I was doing really well with it. So if you play it for a day or two, you could pick this up and play with it for weeks and just really get a lot out of it. It really is a vehicle that can perform when you learn the guns, both offensive and defensive. It's got the speed. It's got enough maneuverability to be a ground attacker. It's got a 75mm nose-mounted gun that is very consistent with its accuracy. Even if they play with the damage values a bit, it's still very satisfying. Anyway, guys, catch you in the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Bye-bye.